Hey y'all, it's I don't even know what the hell time it is. 8:16 actually on Saturday. Went to the market. You know what? Let me take these off. I can't take that clip. Oh, that's even worse. But anyhow, went to the market today and everything was kind of quiet. The two that want to not get along didn't get along, and that's okay because that's how they feel, and that's up to them. Anyhow, I looked up the aisle next to us, and one of my friends had like 3 or 4 places around the corner from us. What the hell are them cats doing? Anyhow, been there for a couple months, I guess, since the first of the year. Well, she created a problem about a month ago. She went to the office and was complaining because the people at the end of the aisle had a half wall up, and it was all approved by the office. She was good. Her husband ran the place while she did other work at home or whatever she was doing. I don't know. I kind of got it where she was coming from. I really did. However, rather than going the route she did, maybe if she would have come and spoke to the people, it would have been a whole lot different. Maybe they would have understood and sympathized or whatever. No, she didn't. She goes up there on a day that the marketplace isn't open, but the people are in the office, and gets the owner's wife. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you what market is because the owner's wife, honest to God, you ought to hear some of the announcements she makes on the overhead thing when there's customers there. I mean, oh Lord. Anyhow, I told you, I get into some fucking predicaments. So anyhow, she was complaining about that, and she went up on a day when the office was open, but the market wasn't, and she took the owner's wife down there and blah, 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 blah. Well, to appease her, the owner's wife went around and told anybody that had any type of walls up, places to put their products, and it had to all come down. What? It had to all come down. Well, the two, I guess they're like commercial rack things. They're black wire. You can put them up and you can hang shelves on them or hooks, or they're real nice. And the people that had my area before just left them. Okay, and those people were there 8 years. So one would think it wasn't an issue for anybody. So on the end, because I always check, I don't take it upon myself to deface other people's property or whatever. So I went down to the office and I asked the wife, this is what I want to do. It's all see-through. It's all open. It's not going to mess anybody's view up from anything, whatever. Can I do it? Oh, yeah. She says, no problem. She says, as long as it's, not solid and it's not obstructing views, blah, 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 blah. So I said, okay. So we put them up. Worked out great. Helped me. We put one up for the people next to us, the guys next to us. And it was a great viewing area for products. It had to come down. Everything in the announcement in front of clients, customers, was you have to take it down. You can't this, you can't that. And anything that previously was authorized, blah, 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 blah. We have to pull those off. People that had been there, some people have been there 30 years. And all because she ran her mouth. It's affected everybody because they didn't have their display areas, and so sales are down and nobody's happy. And then some bullshit come up about tables, Well, again, I had gone to the office and, told her that, because you get 3 8-foot tables to work with, and I have I call it a shed, things like, it's a marketplace. And I went and told her, I said, can I get 2 4-footers? She said, well, just don't take them from somebody else's area. Go out back and get them. Okay. So Chris and I went and got them. I'll tell you what, I thought I tore all the muscles. They're heavy, solid, heavy wood. They're made out of 2x4s, and they're made out of heavy-duty plywood. Heavy. We carted 2 of them. A long ways. Put them in place. Next thing you know, here comes a memo about tables. You can only have 3 tables, blah, 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 and you can't have any with a blue painted top on. I don't know. I don't have any. So we got these distributed in letters. So I took my letter and I went down to the office. And I was talking to the girl behind the counter, but the missus was right there. And I said, hold it. Right there. I said, because you're the one that told me I could put up the mesh walls. You did. I said, and you're the owner. I said, and you told me that I could swap an 8-foot table for 2 4-footers. She says, well, it's not directed at you. She says, it's directed at everybody. And I'm like, no. You, I'm talking to you about me. You told me that I could swap those tables out for 2 4-footers. Well, do any of them have blue tops? And I'm like, no, they don't. Are you sure? I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. I'm sure. And so she says, okay. She says, you can have those. And I said, okay, 2 things. I said, here's the letter that you just sent out. Please sign it. Please sign it that I spoke to you about my tables and I'm good. And then I said to her, you know, I wasn't real happy about having to take my mesh down. Oh, she says, you really didn't have to do that. It wasn't interfering. I said, what? I said, okay, you know what? I said, I'm fixing to have enough of this shit here. I said, I'm not leaving until you have somebody right here that can walk down there with me, because you're signing that I told you I didn't have those tables and that it was all okay. You send somebody down there with me. Sure enough, she did. Guy says, you're fine. He says, what the hell? And I said, no, everybody got these letters. I said, I'm covering my ass. I said, why? Because it's the right thing to do. He said, no, you're good. I said, no, don't leave. You got a walkie-talkie. I said, walkie-talkie that goddamn Amazon in the office. Tell her I'm good. I said, just tell her I really don't appreciate that I had to take my stuff down when I didn't have to. I said, she needs to be a little more clear. So anyhow, all this was started for everybody in the whole place, all because this person didn't want somebody else to have a half wall up. She said it distracted and they couldn't see her shit. She had shit everywhere. What do you mean you couldn't see it? So apparently when I wasn't there this last weekend, I missed it. Apparently David, the husband, I like him. You know, I do. I like her too. But, you know, her husband's real quiet. He's like my husband, you know, laid back, easygoing, smiles all the time. Apparently he got into it with the woman with the half wall. Apparently there was a screaming match. Because when I got there today, I looked around. David's not there. Then I got to look at, none of their stuff is there. None. It's gone. It's empty. Then I look on the corner where the other lady's at. She's not there today either. I'm hoping she comes back tomorrow. Because she was given authority. I watched when the boss lady came down and said it was okay to put that wall up. So she wasn't in the wrong. I get the whole situation. I really do. But I wasn't getting into it because Margot was my friend. Is my friend. But anyhow, before all this weekend happened and the blow up and she took off and left and the other lady didn't show up, I had gone down there and I said, David, after I heard where the bullshit came from, I said, David, what the hell's your wife doing? I can talk like that. We've been friends for years. He said, what do you mean? And I said, all the bullshit over the walls and shit. I said, now we're all getting letters and everybody's pissed off. And they're all saying it's your wife. What was his wife? You know, but I'm not going to stick up for her if she did something wrong. You know, everybody knows that she's my friend. And even when in the conversations today, I said, look, she's my friend and she screwed up. But, you know, I don't have anything to do with the decision. And they're not mad at me, you know, because they know how I am. So, yeah, that was interesting. The other two, well, they just stayed out of each other's way, which was really good. I thought that was great. However, if another spot should come open, there is one open, but the fellas next to me are real interested in it. So I'm going to give them the shot because they need it worse than I do. And they deserve it. And they've been there longer anyhow. So, yeah, if they don't take it, I'm going to. It's around the corner from all the bullshit. Somebody's always mad at somebody. Here's my cup. See my cup? This is the cup I started out my day with. And I'll read it to you. It says, and here we fucking go again. Oh, I mean, good morning. This is how my day started. You know, I got up early this morning, got out the door great. You know, on my way to market. Drive was wonderful. You know, got there. Got everything put together. Said good morning to everybody. And what are you going to do? But I meet a lot of nice people there. So, you know, that overcomes all the crap, I guess. And my friend asked me if I wanted to go back to Webster this week. And, well, I'm not going to let her go by herself. I'm not doing it. And I told her if she could promise me that we'd stay away from the old fucking weirdo, I'd go. I said, but first I got to check with my husband, see how he feels. So I messaged him at work and he said, well, if you think he learned his lesson, if you think he'll keep his hands off you and, you know, you feel confident, he says, I know you. He says, go ahead. He said, but if you don't think that old bastard learned anything, he says, absolutely not. Well, I know Laura wouldn't let anything happen to me. She'd be right there beside me. But this time, I wouldn't walk away. Walk away. Well, if I do, I'll walk away with some of his body parts with me. So we'll deal with it. I'll know tomorrow if we're going or not. We'll see. I may or may not go. I haven't decided yet. But I don't want her to go by herself. So that was my day there. That all got solved. Oh, and then our governor, he signed that bill about Disney not being its own state anymore with its own laws and its own, you know, and a lot of people here are going to be mad. A lot of Disney, you know, they're going to go after him. But here's the thing. It had to go through so many other hands before it got to him to sign it. So that tells me there's a lot of other people that agree. I agree. I do. But, you know, it's just my opinion. So I'm sure there's got to be lawsuit after lawsuit, a bunch of bullshit. And that man has his hands full. I wouldn't want his job. Well, maybe I would. And I probably would do things a lot like he does. I like him. He walks in his own shoes. I respect him for that. So anyhow, we'll see where that madness goes. I don't know. A couple of things I'm going to go over. And remember my video about that goddamn refrigerator, the ice maker, how I was blamed because I left it open too long? Well, I turned the alarm back on after all that happened. I'm in my tub and I'm soaking in some Epsom salts because my feet were hurting. I was feeling old today. So I thought, well, I'm going to fix this problem. So I'm in there relaxing, and all of a sudden I hear beep, beep. Oh, they're out of my husband. I said, is that the fridge alarm I hear? Why, yes, it is. Then I hear it again. I said, is that the same fucking fridge alarm that's telling you the doors are too open? Creates condensation in that fucking ice maker that messes up the ice so you can't, and you blame that on me, and I'm listening to you? Say, he thinks I forget about shit, because I'm old. No. Some days it might take me a minute. It might take me a second to get a word out. I know the word, but I can't spit it out. I feel like I'm falling over my own tongue, but yeah, that whole mess, that him throwing his little bitch fit about the ice maker, but it was my fault. Okay, so that's taken care of. That's not going to ever come back up again for me. He brings it up, I'm coming with all barrels, I'm telling you. So anyhow, we got that resolved. Oh, tags came today. So now, the RV, the car, the van, 2 boat trailers, kayaks, Yakamaran, big boats, everything's tagged again. We won't do that again. Well, I didn't know he was doing it, and he thought he was, doing something right, and well. But we're all good. So that whole problem is solved, so we don't have to deal with that anymore. That's a wonderful thing. And my grandson with the headlights. And I don't know about where the rest of you live, but in Florida, and it's only going to be Mother's Day, but a week before most holidays, and if it's at Christmas time and New Year's, it's like the whole month of December and like 2 weeks after New Year's. Freaking sheriffs are out like crazy. So I told Jonathan about the headlight. The little shit's got a whole set of headlights in the trunk of his car. So I told his granddaddy, I said, plug them in. I'll duct tape them goddamn things in place. I don't care. But the kid needs 2 headlights. Because he likes to go out at night. He says he's driving around. I don't know about that. But so now we're going to have that issue resolved. There was something that happened a little while ago, and I told Chris, I said, that's a video in itself. It'll come to me. And when it does, I'll be back with that. Oh, and then I was telling you about work. Remember, I told you that she wanted to kill the mama and the baby cats. Before that, the first thing that happened well, let me give you a little synopsis. We used to stay there in the RV, in this camp. I'll tell you what it is. I loved it there. Been going there for a long time. Used to go over that way when I was young. And we were camping a lot. And a year ago, January, we were leaving. We had stayed 2 weeks at Christmas. We were leaving around New Year's. And she had said that she was having a hard time keeping help. And that she needed somebody to help with, the cabins. Well, there was 6 cabins at the time. Yeah. And I said, well, if you don't find anybody, call me. I'll come help you, I really didn't think my phone was going to ring. Plus, I was waiting for a surgery date and blah, blah, blah. We hadn't been home a week. And she called me. And I said, yeah, I'll help you. I said, when do you want me there? She says, can you come today? I said, yeah. So I went over, looked around, tore the place apart, went in both the rooms, where the laundry is and where the stock room is. I threw all that shit out the door and started all over again. I said, if I'm going to work here, it's going to be what a mess it was. So I got all straightened out. Those cabins were filthy. Filthy. So Went in. Every cabin I hit, top to bottom, blah, 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 blah. Before you know it, they were looking beautiful. So that's what I did. And I kind of set my own schedule because it depended on how long people were staying. They had to check out by a certain time with somebody checking back into that cabin that day. You know how that goes. Kind of like a hotel, but it's a campground. So I'd look at the schedule and set my hours. She didn't care because she knew I'd be there and she knew she was getting a damn good job done. Well, I didn't know that in places like that, people left you tips. But they do. And I'd walk into a couple of those cabins, there'd be like $20, $30 tip laying there, you know? And I'm like, wow, this is, I never, you know. And I had a couple people say to me on their way out, I hadn't been in their room. I may not have gotten in there till the next day. I left you something in the room. You know, I'd say, thank you, okay, you know, whatever. And some of these people I'd gotten to know, you know, so we messaged back and forth on Facebook or on our phones or whatever. And I had to thank them, not knowing what it was they left because it wasn't there. Well, there was a set of master keys in the office. It opened up almost everything. Well, apparently, there was an employee that would hit those rooms before I got there. Yeah, in and out. The people in the campgrounds were watching them. Then I was informed not only were they doing it, because I was having to thank people for gratuities that I wasn't getting. But I didn't tell them that, you know. I didn't want to mess up the business. And, you know, I let it go. I didn't need it, you know. But it's nice. Somebody leaves you something because they appreciate what you do for them. Then I find out that the manager and her boyfriend were also. Of course, they're a bunch of goddamn drunks. They were stealing. There was beer and wine products in the little store. Stealing. Employees were stealing. They were allowed to run up tabs. A couple of them ran up $400 each. And then they were gone. It was supposed to be paid every week. How do you run up $400 each? Well, anyhow, this is some of the stuff that was going on behind the scenes. Manager's not a manager. She's not. She had no clue what she was doing. So, you know, I'd give her some help and back her up. You know, I'm trying to help her succeed. Couldn't keep her sober long enough. She wasn't half there anyhow. She was living on property for a while. She'd get drunk. We didn't show up, or she'd show up at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you know, when all the work is done and everything's done and everybody's calmed down and settled in and we're all getting ready to go home. And so therefore, anytime there was a problem, everybody come to me. I had to circumvent problems. And one time when we were staying there, I was working there, but I didn't have to work these particular days. It was 4th of July last year. And she says to me, can you bring the RV over and just stay, you know, for several days? And she says, because I need help with activities for the kids, you know, over the holiday. And we anticipate it being busy. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, it wasn't a free stay. I'll tell you that. It was not. And second day I was there, my phone is ringing off the hook at 7 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, what the hell? I don't have cabins to do today. You know, I was going to go down to the kayak launch and help down there or something, you know, just kind of be Miss Susie hostess for the day. Because I wasn't getting paid either. Okay, you know, I'm being nice. I'm trying to help her succeed, trying to help, you know. The phone call at 7 o'clock in the morning. I need you to go over to cabin number, blah, 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 blah. I said, why? What's going on? Why are you calling me at 7 o'clock in the morning? Oh, well, I don't know what to do, she says. And They said they found bed bugs. And I said, what do you mean they found bed bugs? Yeah, and they're packing up and they're going to go stay somewhere else. And I don't know how to deal with it. Can you come take care of it? So I went over and I dealt with the people. And you know, what the hell? And then looking around, the only place that she said she saw bed bugs was in the bed that she had the baby with her, with the baby carrier that goes to the babysitter all the time. See, only place there was bugs seen. Well, the woman wants to blame it on us. And so I gave her a bunch of black trash bags. I said, here, put them in there, you know, leave them out in the heat, whatever. Got to looking around. I stripped everything down. There's not a bug. I knew there wasn't a bug. All our mattresses were white. All our sheets were, you know, yellow, pale blue, light green, that kind of thing. I always checked them. Everything was always sprayed with Lysol before I made a bed. They brought them themselves. And then they tried to blame it on us because I think they thought they were going to get a free room. Well, anyhow, we called the bug man. He came and he said, this is real isolated here. He said, he says, I saw one on the headboard on the bed. I said, exactly. I said, it was in the baby carrier. And the mom told me, the grandma actually told me that that the baby carrier goes to the babysitters. And so, well, that tells you what happened, right? He says, yeah, I got it. So he treated anyhow. And said, you know, within 4 or 5 hours, he said, everything's going to be fine. So I just left it open. We left it for a couple days, you know, made sure. And then he came back for another treatment. It was fine. They obviously carried him in. Anyhow, my point is, she wakes me up at 7 o'clock in the morning. She's supposed to be the manager. You know, she says, I'm the mom of this, I'm the mom of that, and this is my place, and nobody... Right, that's why you're waking me up at 7 o'clock in the morning. Take care. And every time there was a problem, she ran. She didn't like confrontation. So, you know, everybody's like, Beck, you need to come run this place. Yeah, no. I was just there to help out and to work a little bit. And no. So, I might as well just tell you the whole scoop. So anyhow, there was that. There was a lot of bullshit in between. So before the incident with the cats, there was a cabin. Well, we had what they call bunkhouse. It was like a shed with 2 sets of bunk beds, a microwave, a fridge, whatever. No running water or a toilet. It was like primitive, but not. It had AC. These people moved in, stayed. I mean, they moved in this little, it was a woman, her kid, child, I don't know. But she had brought plants and well, they had to get out of that because it was booked. I guess they thought they'd stay forever. It was booked by somebody else. The bunkhouse is what we call it, real popular. The manager puts them in a cabin. And I said, what's going on? I said, she's putting her plants around. And I just like they moved in. I said, you know, they got cats in the cabin. You were allowed to have a small dog. Well, I've seen huge dogs, but I said, they've got cats in there, cat boxes. I said, you know, we get a lot of people in here. And I can clean, and I can clean good, I said, but I can't guarantee that somebody that has a bad allergy to a fucking cat isn't going to have an allergy attack. I said, oh, no, she says, they can't have cats. So who had to go tell them? Come to find out, they didn't have any place to go. Something's not right with this whole thing. Well, eventually, they ran out of money. She's letting them stay here, right? So I have to go in and clean this room. So I go to strip the bed. And I stick my hand under the pillow to grab the sheets because I take it all off the bed and it gets all brand new everything. Guess what I stuck my hand in? some kind of a drug needle kit, and it was open. There were needles in there. And there was some kind of a white substance. I have no clue. So, I gather it up. I'd already touched it. Went and hunted down the manager. Showed her. Don't call the sheriff is what came out of her mouth. And I said, what? I don't need the sheriff out here for any kind of problems. There's enough going on. And the place really has gotten a bad name in the last year. I said, what? Don't call. I said, they had drugs in there. I just stuck my hand in those drugs. She didn't care. Couldn't call the sheriff. Well, guess who by touching this bullshit got sick? Yeah, I got sick. My husband had to watch me for 3 days. I was sick. She didn't care. She didn't care. So, I got over that. I went back to work. Because, there was a lot of people that are regulars there, and they depended on me. And I wanted to make sure they were okay, too, because you see what kind of shit goes on there. And then the issue with the cat. I'm going to shut this video off. And we're going to go to Random Crap Part 2. I'll be back.